Hi, I'm going to do something a little bit different here. I want to talk about something and someone you probably aren't really familiar with, but I mean, just because they're obscure, just because they're operating in the shadows of the MAGA movement, it doesn't mean that they're not both extremely influential and extremely dangerous, okay? I'm going to introduce you to the concept of dark enlightenment and its chief architect, Curtis Yarvin, better known online as Mencius Moldberg. So strap it on because this is going to get weird. Let's start at the beginning with Mr. Yarvin.
Who is Curtis Yarvin?
Curtis Yarvin is a software programmer from San Francisco who in the early 2000s started writing a weird blog under the name Mencius Moldbug. And in that blog, he outlined a lot of these ideas for getting rid of democracy in favor of a corporate monarch or dictator and running territories instead of by government, by corporation. For example, his idea for San Francisco was something called FriskCorp, which would be a corporate-run San Francisco where you need a special card to swipe it and swipe out. At every moment in FriskCorp, you're under constant and total surveillance. They know every single thing you're doing, even if you're in your house. And this is what guarantees the safety of the populace. Of course, he's only reinvented the totalitarian government of Orwell's 1984. But one thing you find with these guys is they think all the villains of science fiction and speculative fiction are the heroes, and they seek to emulate them. So I often hear from people that this is Snow Crash, this is Parable of the Sower, etc. They're all right. And that's the basic idea here. You get a lot of gobbledygook from guys who think they're really smart, but are actually saying really dumb and dangerous things, and now are sadly very close. They're in control of the federal government in Washington.
So from the outset, Curtis Yarvin doesn't seem that remarkable, right? He was a software engineer with a weird blog. Those are pretty dime a dozen in Silicon Valley. But as our friends from the Majority Report laid out, his posts weren't your garden variety internet rants. They were a full-blown manifesto. Democracy, Yarvin declared, was a sham. It was chaotic, inefficient, and ultimately doomed to failure. What he dubbed the cathedral, academia, mainstream media, the free press, were all actively colluding to suppress the masses and needed to be utterly destroyed in the name of human progress. He also proposed a radical alternative: strip power away from Americans and hand it over to a CEO-style sovereign, someone with the legal authority to make decisions swiftly, unencumbered by elections or legislatures. In Yarvin's vision, America would be run like a corporation, complete with shares, dividends, and a board of directors. At different times, Yarvin has called this the death of democracy, a, quote, butterfly revolution, and, quote, a hard reboot. And about 2 years ago, he laid out how he would do it via a strategic program called RAGE, R-A-G-E. Listen to him in his own words.
So I've reduced this very complicated problem to a simple 4-letter acronym, which is RAGE. And RAGE stands for Retire All Government Employees. Very, very simple. Now, the problem with this is, why have you never heard this before? Why has no one ever suggested, let's just get rid of this thing? You have a government in Washington. You're either for it or against it. What is a government? A government is just a corporation which owns the country. Nothing more, nothing less. It so happens that our sovereign corporation is very poorly managed. And there's a very simple way to replace that, which is what we do to all corporations that have failed. We simply delete them. We haven't been able to do that with our government for 200 years. So it's gotten a little bit stale.
So what he's calling for there is effectively an internal coup. One not too unlike what we're experiencing from the DOGE tweens right now, right? That's kind of curious. It's not a coincidence, my friends. Now, you may have been thinking, this guy sounds like a fringe internet troll. But here's the kicker. Over the last 5 years, Yarvin has amassed a posse of billionaire bros. Peter Thiel, the PayPal co-founder turned venture capitalist, has openly praised Yarvin's essays. And listen to billionaire Mark Andreessen. Here it is.
The other lens on this that I think about a lot is Curtis Yarvin, who's also a good friend of mine. And the way he describes the American system that's running the people, the way he describes it is we are living under FDR's personal monarchy 80 years later without FDR.
Yarvin has the richest men in America parroting his talking points. It's rather harrowing. But okay, why is it a big deal? Well, When you have billions at your disposal, you can seed think tanks, sponsor conferences, bankroll the podcasts that then shape conservative opinion. You can mainline your weird blog into mainstream conservatism, into MAGA. No wonder our federal government is literally cooing itself from the inside. So far, some 30,000 federal employees across departments as varied as the FDA, the National Park Service, the FAA, they have been fired by DOGE in the name of government efficiency. What does this all mean for the future? Well, a great deal can be gleaned about this ideology from simply looking at its name, Dark Enlightenment. It suggests the upending of the liberal order that has defined democratic societies for nearly 3 centuries, where the Enlightenment promised liberty, emancipation, equality, and solidarity. Dark Enlightenment offers servitude, hierarchy, bondage, and ruthlessness. Curtis Yarvin said that he wants an American monarch. Now, recently, Trump posted a doctored image of himself with the caption, "Long live the king." If we're not careful, if we don't speak out, if we don't protest and get into good trouble, Yarvin may get his wish. Thanks everyone for watching. Your support means the world to us. So make sure you hit the like button and you subscribe to our channel to make sure that you never ever miss a video. We're live every day, 10 a.m. Eastern time. We drop even more content at 2 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Eastern. And if you want more Don Lemon Show content, we'd love for you to become a member of the Lemon community, where you will receive access to special community posts. You'll get exclusive content and members-only live shows. So head over to our channel page or click the join button on this video. Again, thank you for watching. We appreciate your love and your support, and we will see you next time.